Okay, so we should be ready to go. That's weird. Bear with me 1 second. Just gonna see what's going on here. Think the wrong. Bear with me 1 second. System is not liking me. Yeah. There we go. So apologies about that. Had the wrong screen yesterday when I was testing out my streaming, but we should be good now. There we go. Great. Yeah, apologies about that. So hopefully this is all coming through. What I want to do is I'm just going to double check. I just want to make sure that it is all hunky-dory and that it's all working and not doing weird things. So just use all of them. All right. In this just 1 second. Why is Twitch tablet so difficult? All right, so I think we should be good. I just want to make sure that we are streaming on 1080. Awesome. All right, so my streaming looks good. Which is so difficult. Why is this so difficult? All right, so we are good. We live. Thanks, Pabu, Mick. I think we're good. So, welcome. I didn't realize how difficult streaming can actually be. It's difficult and stressful, but we get in there. I'll get there one day. At least I think I should also be working with audio and video, and everything should be working hunky-dory. Right. So what I came across this the other day. This is by the folk at PortSwigger. So PortSwigger is a company who develops Burp Suite. They have the site called Gin Juice Shop. So I've run. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but I have run sessions with OWASP Juice Shop. So OWASP Juice Shop is a kind of commercial site that you can go off and view and all of that. It's a vulnerable web app. And it's a good learning experience. So learning how to test a site, how to try to look for vulnerabilities, all that kind of stuff. Really great tool, really good for trying to learn these things, as well as like demonstration purposes, testing tools, all of that. So have a look at it. I'll probably carry on doing more sessions for this as well. Gin Juice Shop is the same thing, just a different app. And as I said, like I don't know if the Juice Shop itself is like cheating and stealing it from OWASP Juice Shop. I don't know. Maybe someone at PortSwigger can answer that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It still looks pretty cool. Very similar. So you got basically a commercial site, online shopping site where you can buy all sorts of things. Juice Shop itself look more like juice. Whereas Gin and Juice Shop looks like all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So yeah, the purpose of this session is just to give this site a go and let's see what we can find. I have no real plan. We'll just wing it, I guess, and see how things go. Whoa, I'm going to turn that off. Don't want to do the passive crawling. Okay, so I haven't set up a whitelist. I do have a whitelist itself for proxy. So if you go to github.com, it's in my repositories. You'll see there's a one called, gotta remember what it is, proxy bypass list. So this is just basically a list. I got to probably keep it more up to date, but a list of things that generally kind of make your traffic quite noisy. So these are the kind of background requests, especially a lot of browsers make. What we're going to do for now is we'll just add it to scope. That way we can just focus on this for now. So we're just going to add it to our scope, and we're only going to show items in scope. That way we can actually clear up all the noise and focus on just that gin and juice shop. I also got to add that list at some time. Cool. So we will. What I typically do is I'm gonna clear the history. I'm also just gonna clear the cache, so we can kind of start fresh, load everything from fresh, and get through Burp Suite itself. So even getting rid of any sort of redirects on that. Okay, so here we are, gin and juice shop. So there's the original request. Just see what we get in here. So looks like some tokens. I guess this is load balanced, AWS load balancer, active load balancer maybe. Cause. This is interesting that it's kind of encoded. HTML encoding, which is interesting. And just going through this, I don't see anything that immediately sticks out. And then we've got JavaScript files. Okay. Also, the other thing is, unlike Juice Shop, this doesn't look to be a single page web app. So a single web page web app is something that's actually going to just load a single page, hence the name single page web app. I forgot where just there. So if you go to Juice Shop and you actually see the request itself, you'll just get this page regardless of the actual kind of request that you make. And what this does is load Java, basically the framework, which is JavaScript, and then subsequent calls are REST-based calls that actually pull in the data, and then the JavaScript framework renders the site within the user's browser, where this site itself seems more traditional in the fact that you do a request and then you get a response with the actual HTML. So it doesn't look like it's like doing any REST-based calls and then rendering that in the browser. I prefer these. These are a lot more fun to tackle, I guess, because you can maybe kind of see the reaction straight away. Or I'm just old. Probably that as well. So nothing interesting on the kind of initial load up. So we have a search box there, and we have some types of accounts and products and admin panel. Now, admin panel looks juicy as well. So if you click on that, okay, so we get a access denied, and we'll see we've got a session, and then we've got access denied. Okay. So what can we actually do with this? Let's send that. So some of the things that we can actually do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something different. I'm going to send it to intruder, and I'm just going to cheat, make it easier. So we're going to clear all of that, and we are going to add that. So we're just going to try different methods, HTTP methods, and see what we're going to get. So payloads, there's normally, it's a pro. So we'll just add. So we know get, we got head, host, trace, put, delete, patch. Those are main ones. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. So let's just run that and see what happens. Now, this is great because what we see here is something that stands out. So when you're looking at this, I'll basically look to two things. I look at the status code, and then I also look at the length. Status code, and you want to see any sort of difference. So in the status code, you want to see a different status code. So in this case, trace, we can see a different status code as well as a different length. Now, there are going to be variations because the request itself might be rendered somewhere in the response, and that might account for a few characters difference. But if there's a significant difference, that normally indicates something. So in this case, there's quite a difference. So let's have a look at the kind of standard response. And we get a 403, access denied. And the trace, okay, method not allowed. Okay, so that kind of sucks. So this is actually the application server itself, not allowing this, and away you go. Trace is a way of kind of creating this. You can use this as like a means of doing a proxy and all sorts of weird and wonderful things with trace. So that one's disappointing, nothing there, and just going through these with these all access denied, access denied, access denied. So I suspect it's probably looking for some type of cookie or a session or something like that. But yeah. So that one is not there. So let's go to my account. So we can see our username and password. So let's log in with the user tests and password. Obviously not great. Actually, so if you get this here, what I normally do in the settings is I go to settings, and then if you go search for, I think it's under security and privacy, passwords, just uncheck that, because then that gets rid of that annoying thing each time. I wish it was by default. So let's come back to Burp Suite and see what happens. So it's a post. So there is a CSRF token, and there's a test password, and we get a 200. Now, one of the things you also want to test on the password field is see if you get a different message for a user and a password. So this is where you can start doing user enumeration. Because we don't know any existing users, we're probably not going to get to work out if there is anything different. Just with the information that we have at hand. And there's nothing here to indicate that there's anything really different here. So let's go back. One way to get a username is actually looking at the reviews, right? So if we come to some of the reviews, so if we can come in here, and if there are any reviews, no, okay. There could be like user details in that there, but there's not, which is fine. There's also a blog, so maybe there's some blogs here. So we have a name, so we could also try some kind of play on this name for username. Let's try that. So there are also users down here. Carlos Montoya. So if we send this to repeater, let's just try the name Carlos. Oh, there we go. Send that. So this is where it gets fun. you're going to need a token. Actually, what happens if we just remove this token? Does that actually do anything? Damn. No. Oh, wow. That made this difficult. Jeez. Oh, okay. So yeah, we need a token. That kind of thoughts any sort of brute forcing, really. That sucks. So you can do this in Burp. I got to figure it out. So the way you can automate this in Burp is called something called a macro. So what you do is the GET request. So you would do the GET request for the login, pass the response, pull out the CSRF token, and then put in the CSRF token in the request that you want to submit. Okay, so that one's still nothing interesting there. And we still get them, like the things that you're looking for are different messages depending on different users that you're putting in. So sometimes I might say even invalid user or username and not the password. So that indicates that the user is invalid, or invalid password indicating the user is valid, or there might be a different response code, or even just simply a different message. So you're looking for any sort of differences, and then that way you can work out the type of message that's associated with a valid user, and then you can use that to work out what users are in the system. In this case, we're not going to win with either of those. So the next thing to test is for SQL injection. So what you do is just put in test, select test, and then put a single quote in, and then something like any password. Now, what this does is this is going to, if there is a SQL query and there is SQL injection, this will break that SQL query. So what we would expect to find is a different response code. And sometimes you might even get the actual debug message because they haven't turned off debug, and you can actually get the SQL query within that. So let's do that. It doesn't look like we've got that. No such luck there. All right, so let's try it in the password field, because it might just be in the password field. I very much doubt it, because a single quote should be part of the password, which it is. Okay, so that one draws a blank. Oi, this one is not as easy as Juice Shop. Probably not going to find anything. All right, so those are the things you look there. This is kind of the approach that I take. So in that case, I can't do anything. There's not a way to create an account. So you probably have to brute force and all that kind of stuff. The next thing we can do is in the search. So in the search, let's just look for test, right? And I don't even look in the response yet, because I'm looking on the page to see if this appears anywhere here. Normally what it will do is not actually show it in this. It will actually not show it as like a input field, but it will actually show it as a what do you call it, like text label. In this case, it's still shown as an input field, but let's go have a look and see what comes back. So they're doing a get with that, and if we look for tests, so there's a potential for cross-site scripting here. Now, what I want to do is see how it handles this, because if you have a look here, what I want to do is break out of this and start injecting HTML. So I want to see how it handles a double quote. If it doesn't escape that, then we have the potential for cross-site scripting, there it is there. So we've broken the HTML of the page, and we can actually inspect this, and should be able to see. So there we go. Be careful, because sometimes it may appear this way, but it's actual HTML encoding. And this is a bugbear of mine. I don't know why they don't do it. So if you remember the title itself here is all HTML encoded, and if we come into here and we look at the title, it's not HTML encoded. When you just look at it like this, I wish they would actually show the raw HTML, not the like kind of interpreted, because if you go now and edit as HTML, that's still not there. Wow, okay. That's weird, because normally if you go edit as HTML, it will actually show you the HTML encoded elements. As you see there, we're getting that's the raw. So this has called me out a few times. So what we want to do is go in here, edit as HTML, so we can actually see. And actually, as you see there, it's kind of weird. I don't understand. Oh, just there's no results. We have a broken HTML. There's just no results, of course. So this often catches, or it's caught me out a few times. I'm like, yes, I've escaped it, and I've got a SQL or cross-site scripting injection or payload in there, and it's appearing there, and why is it not working? It's because it's HTML encoded. So yeah, I actually don't even know if the site has known vulnerabilities. I imagine it does, but I hope it does. But yeah, so HTML encoding is a really good way of preventing cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. So that one's a bust. And there's going to be no way to break out of this. The only other ways are kind of double encoding. So what we could do is, so send this to repeater. So if you just do, so Burp Suite will automatically do the HTML encoding. So what we could do is try to do some things like double encode and see what happens there. So encode that as a URL and then encode as a URL again. And let's see what happens. Yeah, it's not going to work. Okay. Yeah, so that's not going to work. And I can't, you basically need to break out of that, and I can't think of a way at the moment. If we just do percentage 25 and then 222, so if we do percent 25 and not make that, just do 22. See what happens here. Nah, it's not gonna work. Geez, oh. Okay. So yeah, that's not gonna work. All right, that one's a bust. Oh, okay. Anything here? So let's have a look at the response. So one thing we can do here is try look for something called IDOR. So you see there's an ID here. So we can just simply change that. So it's insecure direct object reference. So basically there's no protections. The way the vulnerability works is there's no protections around the ID. And it's a authorization-based vulnerability where you don't have appropriate roles and permissions associated with the ID. So someone can just iterate and go through all the IDs and then get all the information. So let's send this to repeater. Send it to intruder. And we're just going to iterate through a bunch of these. So we'll clear those. We'll start off at probably 0 and then work our way up from there. So we're going to do a simple list. of numbers. We'll start off at 0. Why is it not working? 0. And then let's go up to like say 20. And we're going to step 1. So this is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth, all the way up to 20. Okay, so we're getting 5 4s, which means not found. So those are actually not found. All right, so there we go. I suspect that these are all probably on the pager anyway. Yeah. New blog. That's 3, 4, 5. Wait. Let's just go in, yeah, and have a look. What we're looking for. 5. Oh. Okay. Oh, those are images as well, so we can maybe try something like that as well. I'm getting confused. All right. So there's 3, 4, 6. 2, 5, 1. And I think that's all of them that were found, yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. Okay, so nothing interesting there. But one other thing that was there in these was the images. I don't know how useful these are going to be, but let's just try that. I'm just going to do this cheat. Get in there easily. All right. So we'll do something similar here. So what we need to do is show the images. Wait, where? That's not showing the images. Yeah, the binary. Huh. Why is that not showing the JPEGs? Ah. No. Oh well. That's interesting. Just take that. Oh. Just make sure we get something back. Okay, there's the image. Let's send to repeater. Oh, sorry. Send to intruder. And we're going to clear that. And we're going to try for different ones of these. Again, let's start off with 0. And let's go up to like, I don't know, 20 again. Step 1. There I'm up. So nothing interesting there either. What you can do in Burp, you can actually go render, and it should actually show you the image, which is pretty cool. This is a really handy feature. So not even that, if you have a response, so say something like this, you can also go render and actually view it within Burp Suite itself. It just saves having to go back to the browser. So there's nothing interesting there. And I can't see anything else too interesting here. I really can't. So the only other real place is products. So let's go view. All right, so maybe products has an IDOR vulnerability. So let's try that. So let's go send to intruder to clear those. Let's add that. And let's go to payloads and do numbers. 1 to, I don't know, 20 again. Let's start this. So off it goes, finding a bunch of things. All right. So probably nothing that exciting. We probably want to go look for the last one. Yeah. All right. Nothing exciting there. It's just disappointing. I'm expecting to find things. I'm not even going to look for the images because I'm pretty certain that's going to be the other one. So, and there's nothing that interesting here. Please. I'm just trying to see if there's anything sort of interesting within the product itself. Search term, add CSRF and search. Don't know what that is, but yeah. CSRF. Okay, so I can't find anything there. We've gone to admin, we've gone to my account. So yeah, I think I've exhausted what I can. I think probably what's going to be needed is to get through to the admin panel and then also get through to an account, which is going to probably require what do you call it? Brute forcing. I also suspect, because this is a PortSwigger thing, if we scan this with Burp Suite itself, the pro version, it may find things as well. But at the moment, I am really drawing a blank. I can't think of anything else that off the top of my head at the moment to test, really. I guess the only other one is the session, but even this, I can't see anything that stands out to me. It looks random and unique. But what we could do is like just try different values, and yeah, it's doing a set session, so nothing there that is all that useful. This kind of stuff here, I think, is just to do with AWS, so doesn't really impact the app itself. One of the other things you should do, we could try is Dirbuster. Dirbuster. So Dirbuster, apologies for the small things, 4K screen with Java is not great. But what we'll do is come to Dirbuster and put that in. Now, Dirbuster is an app that will allow you to try run a scan and find brute force different what do you call it? Directories. So we're going to use blank extension because there's no extensions. We want to use some word lists. So I'm pretty sure the word lists are in user share word. word lists. And then let's go to Durbuster here. Let's just do small, because it's probably going to take some time. We're going to do auto, yeah, and then let's just start and see how this goes. So off this will go, and I'll start testing different directories based on that word list. So things like /admin, /login, so on and so forth. Let's see. Not really finding much. Also, I think what I'm going to do in the next stream, I'm going to try compare Gin and Juice Shop with Juice Shop, so you can see a lot of the things that I've shown you here now are actual vulnerabilities in Juice Shop. So it will be good to actually see the vulnerability as well. Yeah, and this is probably going to take some time to finish, but that's how you run Durbuster. And once it's finished, if it finds things, it should tell you in the results, and then you can see all the directories as well as the directory structure. So one of the other things you can do is also test for robots.txt. Now, this file, okay, this one doesn't have it. This file is used by our sites to tell automated scanners, web crawlers, things about the sites. So things to scan, things to not scan, so on and so forth. But the problem with these files is sometimes people don't have just general rules like don't scan the site. They have very explicit things about directories and that's in there. And then that can give away like directory structures and that type of thing. But in this case, there's nothing there. Yeah, so yeah, we've tried different things. I got to go and spend a bit more time also looking at it's probably try scanner with Juice Shop. Sorry, Burp Suite. You can also scan it with Nectar. So Nectar is a kind of command line one, and you can just run scan like this. So you just run Nectar scan, and it will just go off and run the scan itself against it. So you can do something like that. Why is that? No, I did specify though. I don't know why it's saying it didn't specify host or URL. Let's see. Yeah, it's normally just Nectar space the host name, but again, I gotta find out why that's not working. That should have worked. Maybe it needs the /. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully this has been somewhat informative. Come back to this. I definitely want to investigate this more because I'm really curious why there's absolutely no findings so far. Whether that's intentional or not, I don't know. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up, I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen this